authentic self. Before in the last video, we were talking about, I was trying to find the link between why being more genuinely you becomes a more intensity. It becomes because intensity is associated with toughness. So here's another link. Authenticity leads to more intensity, and more intensity leads to more enduring, more backlash. And enduring more backlash and getting more practice in this leads to getting more tough. Now, toughness is an underestimated component of being a powerful person, being able to withstand harsh criticism. And there's many different types of criticisms a person can have. Some people will be criticized. I've been criticized by them all. I've been criticized by genuine criticism. Some of it has been constructive, but a very small amount of it. Some is well-intentioned criticism, but their logic, their reason is not as powerful as yours. Therefore, you end up in a debate situation, your perspective versus theirs. And if you have the better argument, you're a better debater, you can just crush that criticism and dismantle it. And that really is the test to see who has the stronger perspective. If your perspective endures this process of genuine criticism between two opposing ideas or multiple opposing ideas, then that's a pretty good indication that that is a pretty strong truth. Because, I mean, I will say this, it seems obvious to me, but I'm sure it's not obvious to everybody. Truth is stronger than lies in any situation. Even the simplest truth is stronger than the most elaborate lie, because lies are based on a false reality, and therefore they're easily destroyed. It's like a house of cards. It might be beautiful, it might be very tall, it might be quite elaborate, and it might be fairly diverse and complex, giving it an extra element of durability. So if you knock over one card, maybe the whole structure doesn't collapse, but you knock over several cards, eventually that will come down. Truth is based in reality. It cannot be knocked down. It's got this reality is the perfect foundation. It cannot be dismantled, it cannot be destroyed. And let's say there's a portion of that truth which is not quite correct, that might fall. Maybe that portion, maybe you have a deep cement foundation with a strong cement house on it. Maybe a portion of that house isn't built as well. Then maybe that portion will fall. But the rest of it, the structure still stands. So you can make a correction, you can rebuild that part that falls and you build it better. So truth, a simple truth, will always be more powerful and more enduring than the most elaborate, the most complex, the most clever lie in every situation. You can always count on that. So enduring this type of backlash, this type of criticism, and then the next type of criticism, which isn't actually a criticism, it's just attack. There's just slanderous attacks. They're attacking you with slander, they're attacking you with lies, they're assaulting your character because they're mad. And they can't handle it. They don't have any skill to debate you with, and they're probably not equipped with the truth anyway. So what they do is slander and attack and try to get you into an emotional state so your argument is deteriorated. Now, in order to withstand any one of these, especially the slanderous attack, is to be able to control those emotions. And that comes back to being more authentic and having more intensity and having more toughness, because these are all linked. Now, the more authentic you are, the more you can put yourself into that space of sitting in that truth and not being stirred into an emotional reaction. Now, emotional reaction is a danger to your argument, but intensity is not. And almost all the time, people are going to confuse, they do this to me all the time, my intensity for rage or anger, and it's actually passion. So anger might and can discredit your argument and discredit your character. However, intensity probably emboldens it. So if you go and just like, let's say we're matching wits. Let's say we're matching wits for the sake of argument with somebody who have equally intelligent perspectives. Now, this is a rare situation, but let's just imagine it. Okay, so person A with an intelligent argument, let's say he has an intensity of like 80%, and the person B who has a similar has an intensity of 40%. Now, that intensity alone can defeat the other person. So maybe you aren't even beating them on the facts, on the evidence, but you could beat them in terms of throwing their character off and throwing their argument off and coming out the victor in the debate. Now, why would you do this? You know what? This is just a situation that we're using for a hypothetical purpose. If they really do have a good presentation and a really good, and you're feeling like you're being kind of swayed by it, just allow yourself to be. That's another part of being an authentic person. Being allowed to be swayed by the good arguments of others, even though you could defeat this person. There might come a time, and I'm not going to get into situational analysis of why you might want to beat somebody who's coming up with a lot of good points. I think if you're really having this type of dialogue, your goal probably shouldn't be to crush them. It should probably be to find commonality and share information for the mutual benefit of each other. But really all I'm trying to say is, if you are matching wits with somebody who has a less intensity of views, you can bulldoze them by getting them into an emotional state and crushing their argument because it becomes more flimsy. Somebody in a highly emotionally reactive state, it's really easy, as long as you don't fall into the pitfalls, to finish that situation and present yourself as the victor. So yeah, you take in your own hands why and when and where and why, all these things of why you might want to do this, but that's up to you. Now, on the other hand, somebody who's coming at you to attack you, I don't care if their intensity is high, because they're in an emotional state. And if you are not but if you're in an equal level of intensity, your emotional state isn't as triggered, crushing that person by just simply not falling into their pitfalls and just, spinning their accusations as assaults around them, or just kind of not even really giving it the time of day and continuing to put reality, fact-based evidence out, it really will just make them look like a fool. You've already won. You've actually already won. So there's very little you have to do. And if you get into that emotional reactive place with that person, then it's not that you win because you already won. Now you just both lose. They're never going to win. They've already lost. But they're just now at this point trying to get you to lose as well. As long as you just hold your ground, don't fall into that trap of emotional reaction, which is what they want you to do, you will win. So it's just a matter of not letting yourself be dragged down into a loss. Now, continued experience with this, and I will go back and associate that with the karate and getting punched in the face. These do sometimes hurt. Somebody attacks who you think you are can be as painful or more painful than a punch in the face. So the analogy still applies. If you can go into a debate, but having weathered quite a lot of these types of things, you can confidently know that whatever you get hit with, you will be able to handle it and not get thrown off your game, off your place of integrity, off of the quality of your argument, and sit in that place of truth and just wield fact-based evidence as your weapon and deflect slanders and lies and weak arguments backed by low intensity. So intensity good, emotional reaction not so good.